Bill Curry is a name synonymous with class and integrity in the coaching profession. He's the first head coach of the Georgia State University football program, which is currently undefeated. He's a native of College Park, and Coach Curry brings 17 years of experience as a collegiate head coach at Georgia Tech, Alabama, and Kentucky, as well as an all-pro playing career in the National Football League. Of course, most recently, he won national acclaim as a college football analyst at ESPN. Please welcome Coach Curry.
I hope that's a panther that we're hearing. What a privilege to be here with this incredible potential in the room today. What a privilege to be asked to provide inspiration. One of the great treasures in life is the opportunity to wear this whistle and to work with the young people of America, which is my life mission, and to teach them to recognize their personal potential, to develop it, to give it to a cause greater than themselves in an unselfish way, and thereby learn life's greatest lesson, which is to share all that we have and all that we are with everybody who needs us all the time. If you want to justify our sport, which very often requires justification, that is the lesson that quality young people learn. I'm going to ask you to engage in a brief exercise in personal inspiration this morning. It's one that makes the point that I'd like to make to you as I look around this room and survey the possibilities of the potential in this room. Just look at your hand. I know it seems absurd, but study the lines. If you happen to have been a lineman, your fingers might point in funny directions like these. The lines are distinct, clearly marked. Understand this reality, which is easy to say, difficult to take in. If we were able, scientifically, to take 6.7 billion sets of fingerprints, roughly the population of the earth, every single one of them is unique. You are without peer. You are unique. You are precious. God's given you potential that no one else has. You have the capacity to recognize that, to develop it, and then to give it. There is a Latin word, 12 letters, 5 syllables, one word. Don't try to look it up in the dictionary. It's not there. It's from a dead language. But the concept is not dead at all. It is magnanimitas. It means greatness of spirit. And I'm here this morning to remind you, as I had the privilege of doing with our players at 6:30 a.m. They're on the practice field as we speak. And I'm going to have the privilege of joining them there to continue to teach that which I know we need so much, not just in our community, not just in our state, but all across the world. And that is for each of us to recognize that our personal magnanimitas carries great weight and has great potential, that still small voice that speaks in moments of distress and silence and quiet, regardless of what we call our personal faith. That still small voice reminds us that we have the privilege of continuing in the face of whatever we have to manage. And if our sport has any place in the metaphor of America, it is in the huddle. Because in that huddle is Black America. In that huddle is Caucasian America. In that huddle is liberal, conservative, rich, poor, north, south, east, west. I can go to South Central Los Angeles, as we did this year, and I can bring a man-child all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, and then go to the hills of North Georgia, which we've done this year, and bring a very different-looking man-child. Perhaps they've been raised to hate each other's guts. And I stick them in a huddle, and I teach them how to sweat. And as a coaching staff and as an academic support system, we teach them how to learn and how to set goals and how to recognize their personal magnanimitas and how to share it with other people who look and think different from them, people they've been taught that they should not interact with. And then I have the privilege, and this is the payoff, I'll have to tell you, I have the privilege of watching one of God's special miracles as these two young people who've been trained to dislike each other, I watch them as they sweat and push themselves and drive themselves through the rigors of a great academic institution and a demanding sport, who learn to push themselves beyond their perceived levels of endurance. And as they come in that locker room and pull those nasty shirts off every day, that begins to dawn that those shirts smell just about the same on everybody. And when I get busted in my mouth, my blood's about the same color as my brother. And all of a sudden, it doesn't matter what color his skin is. It doesn't matter what his religion or his politics are. It matters that he's my brother. And I call it the miracle of team, because those two learn to love each other, and it lasts the rest of their lives. That's the stuff that's supposed to happen in communities. It's supposed to happen in churches. It's supposed to happen in families, and sometimes it does. It always happens in the huddle. It always happens. You see a good football team, we're going to give you a good football team. Georgia State University. When you see a real football team, that's what you're seeing. People that have learned to love each other and give when it's very difficult to give. Because in the final analysis, in those 2-minute drives, and it's 100 degrees, and I'm playing in my 20th football game in a row, and I haven't missed a play, and Dick Butkus is on the other side of the ball jumping up and down, never been tired a day in his life. There is no Super Bowl ring that's going to make me smash my face into him for the 75th time that day. There's no contract that's going to make me do that. There's no coach's pep talk that's going to make me do that. Well, if those things don't motivate, what does? What happens with a great team? Here's what happens. Still small voice inside. I'm thinking about quitting, because I really don't care if Unitas gets sacked. Let Joe Green run back there and do his thing. All I really want to do is quit. And in my business, all you got to do to quit is turn your shoulders ever so slightly. You don't have to leave the field. You just sort of give up on the block. And then we can all go home and suck on the oxygen. Right? Wrong. That magnanimitas that burns inside every one of us says, don't you dare quit. And then just as importantly, I look at the poor son of a gun next to me, and that's my brother. And I know what he's going to do because I've been there with him. He's going to give more than he has. And in that instant, I have found my motivation to continue. I cannot let him down. I cannot let him down. That is the merit of our crazy sport. Application for us this morning, I'm going to ask that you take that unique handprint, that unique fingerprint, and join it with your neighbor. Just reach out. Do this with me. I know this is a mind game. I'm a youth worker. Be patient with me. We're almost finished here. And I want to put it in perspective for you. Take a look around this incredible room with the amazing array of talent, and understand the obvious. For the mathematically inclined, it's very clear. When we join our unique magnanimitas with that of each other's, we do not increase our capacity to do well and to do good arithmetically. We do not increase it geometrically. We increase our capacity to do good and to do well and to do great things exponentially, greater than the apparent sum of the component parts. That's what a team is. So before we leave here today, let's be sure we're a team, and that we're about the business of changing this great city for the good, this great state for the good, and this great nation. Thank you for the privilege of being here. God bless you.